everybody and welcome to the Artisan Colour Smudge video. So if you're watching this video, you are looking to incorporate maybe a few different premium chalk paint colours onto your paint project. So this finish can be done on furniture, it can be done on decor, walls, pretty much anything. So it's a little bit different from the Artisan coloured waxes. It's a lot softer. So it's a really soft way to incorporate different colours into your paint project. It's not quite aging it either. It's more around, I suppose the best way to describe it is you're kind of creating age through variation in colour. So it is an aged look, but a very soft kind of aged look. So I'm going to demonstrate on this wooden box. It's just a plain wooden box, fully varnished. I picked it up from a secondhand store, but a really lovely box with beautiful bevels in that. So it will work out quite well with my Artisan Colour Smudge, and I'll be able to demonstrate how to detail with multiple colours. Let's cut the talking and get straight into it, and I'll kind of talk you through as we go. So I am going to start first of all with the Artisan duck egg. So Artisan duck egg premium chalk paint. I'm going to give it a really good stir. This is one of my older cans. There's about half left in there, or just actually probably about a quarter left in there. With paints that are nearing the bottom, you want to make sure you give everything a really good stir so that you're dispersing all the pigments in that can evenly and thoroughly, and then you're away, you can start. I'm going to use the Style Me Star Series 2020. I'm actually using a size 20 today because I want to get through this reasonably quick. It's a good size head. And really all you need to do, how am I going to do this so you can see everything? Let's just move that. There we go. So I'm going to pick up my paint and I'm going to load my paintbrush quite generously. So there's quite a bit of paint on there. And what I want to do is I want to create some subtle texture through here. I don't want it overly textured because I'm not looking at creating super rustic age or anything like that. I'm looking at just creating some soft age. So there's some knocks and dings in here, so I'm just kind of stabbing it to get the paint right in. And I'm going to follow the line of the box, the bevels, but I'm going to paint in all directions. How gorgeous is that colour? So now, this is really tricky doing this kind of in this angle. I'm kind of looking at the camera while I'm painting, which is really unnerving, really, but I think I'm doing an okay job. So I'm brushing my paintbrush out. I'm brushing it in all directions, basically painting messy. So everyone can manage that, right? A little bit of kind of messy painting. But then at the end, as I'm painting it in all directions, I'm actually going to lift the pressure off my brush and I'm just going to kind of tickle it around. What that does is it helps to level off any paint. It allows me to still create movement in my brush strokes, but it's really going to be quite subtle. And premium chalk paint will allow you to kind of brush over it like that. It's got a beautiful body to it. It's really creamy, and wherever your brush strokes go, however you brush it, the paint will kind of follow and sit and stay put exactly where you put it. So that's my first coat, and that coverage is pretty amazing. So I'm going to turn it, and I'll probably be able to demonstrate this side a little bit easier because it's not as big. So I'm going to do the same thing. Brush it on. In all directions. a size 20, series 2020 brush. Size 20 is really satisfying to paint with because it does cover a bigger area than say one of the smaller ones like the size 18. So when you're doing flat surfaces like this, it's actually very, very satisfying. Like that, done. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same. So there you go, that's the first coat. So first coat, paint in all directions, load up your paint nice and generous, and then take the pressure off your brush and give it a little kind of tickle just to flatten off the paint a little bit, but still keep some movement in your brush strokes. We need that texture there because we're going to detail it with an Artisan colour smudge. So you'll see in the next round why we need that texture there. So for now, you leave it to dry. Now, if it's a nice day, you're talking about 30 to 40 minutes. If it's a cold, wet kind of day, it could take a little bit longer. If you're impatient like me, when I'm doing videos, I will hair dry it, but I will move it around rather than holding it in one localized area because you do risk the paint cracking. So if you've got time, leave it to dry naturally. That's the best way for the paints to dry. But yeah, yes, you can hair dry it, but just move it around. So I'm going to quickly hair dry this. Okay, so that's nice and dry now. So this is my first coat and it's looking really great. I'm going to do a second coat. I can still see a little bit of wood here and there. So I definitely want full coverage on this. Even if you get really great coverage on the first coat and you feel like you've covered everything, do that second coat. We need a good thick layer of paint on there so we can work the Artisan colour smudge over it. So really important that you do 2 solid coats as a base finish. So again, here we go. Same style of painting. Messy kind of painting. Again, everyone can manage that. Forgot to paint the legs last time, so let me do that. So, once you've done your second coat, leave it to dry again, or if you're impatient, hair dry it. Here's my box all dried. So Duck Egg, this is just raw premium chalk paint, so it's got that really lovely matte finish. I've brushed it in all directions, although as it dries that kind of lovely flat matte kind of look. Now I'm just going to put this to one side for now, like there, because I'm going to just quickly show you what I'm going to do next. Now we're ready to do a coloured wax. So premium chalk paint needs to be sealed to make it kind of functional so you can wipe and clean it, and by waxing it, it repels water, allows you to clean it and so forth. So we're going to do a Clubhouse Grey wax. Clubhouse Grey is one of our darker greys. So here I've got my Artisan clear wax. I'm going to pull that out onto some baking paper. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of Clubhouse Grey, like so. I'm going to pop that in there. And it should be like a visual 1-for-1 when you're mixing the wax. And I'm going to mix it all together, like making icing. And the more Clubhouse Grey premium chalk paint I put in there, the stronger it's going to be. The less I put in there, the more subtle it's going to be. So you have that freedom when it comes to mixing your coloured waxes. This is really unique to the Artisan premium chalk paint and wax system. The reason why we're able to do this is because our premium chalk paints are so pigmented, and also our waxes are so silky soft. You brush it out and it kind of has a no tacky, it's not tacky, it dries off really fast. You can spread it out really thin. You can use your wax brush to kind of brush it out super thin, so as soon as the air touches it, it starts curing and activating it straight away, and starts hardening off very, very quickly. So to the touch, it feels really dry. almost straight away. You can't really do this with any other wax. So I've got a clean lint-free rag here, and I've got my Style Mister 3600 wax brush. It's the big one. So it's going to allow me to kind of just get through this really quickly. So step 2 is wax your premium chalk paint in a coloured wax. So this is going to change the duck egg quite a bit. And also I'm just going to quickly talk through how to do a coloured wax. So as an example, I've got this much on my brush. And if I load it up like that and put it on super thick, hopefully you can see that, right? And then I go to wipe it off. I wipe pretty much everything off. It does change it, so it's got a lovely kind of soft grey hue over it. And if that's the look you're going for, then that's absolutely fine. But it is you are wasting a lot of wax because you're putting heaps on and then you're wiping heaps off. And after you're doing one section, it gets quite messy. So if you're looking for your coloured wax to have some bite into your paint finish, you want to brush it out. So the Artisan wax is super soft, super silky, and it has a lot of playtime to it. So you can brush it out nice and thin using all that wax, and as it's brushing over that premium chalk paint, it's absorbing into the body of the paint. You can brush it in all directions because we painted it in all directions. It's absolutely fine. Right, I'm just going to do this whole section. Just picked up some more. It's quite a lot on my brush there, but that's okay because I'm going to spread it right out. Okay. Oh, did I miss that part there? And I'm going to grab my clean lint-free rag, fold it so there's a nice soft pad. You don't want to transfer any wrinkles, so don't crunch it up like that and wipe because you'll transfer the wrinkles. Nice soft pad, nice and smooth. And then we're just going to lightly, back and forth, with little to no pressure, pull back the excess. And through here. I'm looking into the camera to try and wipe in detail. There we go. So that's got Clubhouse Grey Wax on it. That does not. So you can see straight away, you can see the bevels, you can see the detailing. It's given it a soft kind of age. That's a nice flat finish in the matte premium chalk paint. So it makes quite a difference. And then I'm going to go again. Okay, so I've done my duck egg with my Clubhouse Grey Wax. Really lovely finish. So it's a really beautiful finish. It's really lovely and soft. Now, if you like this finish, that's one step there. Duck egg, Clubhouse Grey Wax, beautiful finish, done. Super easy. But we're going to move on and we're going to incorporate some other colours to it. So I've got some baking paper here, and my brushes of choice for this particular box is a pointer tip and my Style Mister Series 2020 size 20. Now you're going to need some of the Style Mister detailing brushes depending on what you're painting. The angle fitch brush, the Style Mister detailing brush, the pointer tip, these are all really great brushes for getting into bevels, carved detailing and so forth. So they're probably the ones that you'll kind of veer towards. Now the first one I'm going to do is Adriana. So Adriana is quite a bright colour, but I'm going to be watering this down. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. And I've just got some water in here. So I'm going to dilute it. You can do this in a jar. It'll be much easier for you to hold, but I'm just doing this on baking paper so that you can actually see the consistency and what I'm doing. Depending on what colours you're using, you might need to dilute it quite a bit or maybe not so much. So as an example, when I say that, if I was to use a colour like, say, Obsidian Blue, which is a very, very dark blue, I'd probably want to dilute it quite a bit. Otherwise, it's really, really going to overpower, unless that's what I want. So again, you have that freedom, but with this finish, I do find that a really good dilution works really well. So there's my diluted premium chalk paint. You can see it's super runny, very watery. And I'm just going to put that to one side off the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to spin this around a little bit, like so. So I'm going to pick up my diluted Adriana, and with my Star Mister brushes. Star Mister brushes are great because they're really high absorbent, so they're going to pick up that diluted premium chalk paint and hold it in its bristles for a really long time. I've got some clean and free rags here, and I'm going to just place that here and there. So you can see as I put it on, it's starting to bead because it's got water in it, and water and wax don't really like each other. But we're actually using the fact that they don't like each other to our benefit. So it's beading, and then we're just going to use a rag to smudge it in, like so. So I'm going to do that kind of along that line. And you want to do this while the wax is fresh. So basically we're smudging in that colour before that wax cures. So it's going to harden together as one. And then I'm going to do a little bit more, maybe just in these corners. Maybe a little bit on the feet, like so. It doesn't have to be symmetric, it doesn't have to be exact. When furniture ages, it doesn't age symmetrically. So that's the neat thing about this whole thing, is you don't have to be perfect. Right. So for this larger area, I might just put some just through the center. So I'm just going to brush it a little bit here. And then I'm just going to use my rag just to smudge it out through the center only. So that's my basis so far. So you can see how much that's changed from the Clubhouse Grey. And I'm just looking in the camera. I'm just going to turn my rag out. I'm just going to blend these areas out like so. Okay, looking really lovely. So that's what I call a diluted Artisan colour smudge. You can also do a dry colour smudge, which I like to do to frame the light colour smudge, the diluted one. So what a dry colour smudge is you grab your premium chalk paint, grab your brush, pick up your premium chalk paint. You only need a smidgen, and you're going to just very, very lightly brush it here and there. And then you're going to just smudge it out. Like so. So it makes it a little bit stronger. Just going to take the water out of my brush to do this. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just move this over this way so you can see. So and this is all happening while the wax is still fresh. Can you see that? That's looking super pretty. So you can see how soft that finish is. So I'm just going to go a little bit more here. I forgot to take the water off my brush when I did this side. So just kind of squeeze the water out of your brush when you go to do the dry smudge, so that you get that strength. How pretty. Okay, so there you go. So you're getting that really lovely kind of, when I said at the beginning, a bit of a watercolor type look. So that's my Adriana. Now I'm going to keep going on this one side so you can see the whole paint effect, and then I will repeat it on all the other sides, and then we'll look at it as a whole. So that's my Adriana done. I'm just going to wipe the Adriana off the pointed tip brush, and I'm going to grab another baking paper. This time I'm using Old Denim, that colour. Beautiful, beautiful colour. I'm going to take a little bit out, put it on my paper. I'm going to dilute it with water. It's a bit like cooking when you're doing decorative painting. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, to create depth. Except it's a visual feast rather than a meal. Dilute that a little bit more. So Old Denim is a little bit stronger in terms of a colour. I don't want it to be super, super strong. I want it to be a really soft version. So I'm going to, I've added quite a lot of water in there. So you can see there it's super runny. You can try a little bit on your piece of furniture and then wipe back. And that, and then you can adjust from there. So if you put it on and it's too strong, put a little bit of water in. If you put it on and it's too subtle, then put a little bit more paint in. So I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to pick up my Old Denim, and I'm going to go this time through here. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe the water, squeeze the water out, and I'm just going to do a little dry smudge. So that's just using a little bit of the paint, and where I want it to be, where I want the colour to be a little bit stronger. So I might go along there, up through here, maybe up through here as well. You can see that, hopefully you can see that. And then I'm just going to smudge that in. There we go. And I might just do just a little bit. Through there, and I'll smudge that in too. Whoop. Okay, so now that is my Clubhouse Grey Wax, my Adriana colour smudge, my Old Denim colour smudge, I'm trying to remember, and that is where we got to with the waxing. So you can see from that to that is again quite different. So you can incorporate as many colours as you like when it comes to Artisan colour smudges. You're limited only by your creativity. And what colours you should use, generally I say you should draw inspiration from the room that you're painting for. So it might be the colourway of the cushions on your bed, or it might be a piece of artwork, or it might be just the colouring that you have in general in your home. You can pull all those colours out onto a piece for that room and have it kind of look like it's you know, when it's put in place, it looks very in keeping, and it looks very natural, and it looks like the piece was kind of purposely designed for the space. So generally when I do things like this, I like to use colours in groups of threes. Much like gardening, 3 is my magic number. And so I'm just going to grab a stirring stick. I only bought 2 stirring sticks here with me, so I'm just going to wipe the old denim off, use the other side. I've got country mustard here. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, country mustard. Yellow. How is that going to work? But it will. Now is in certain areas I'm going to pull back and allow the duck egg to come through. It's also going to allow me to blend some of those colours together as well in areas. So the steel wool is a 000 steel wool. It's going to polish it as well. It's going to, so you can kind of see, I hope you can see. So it's kind of pulling through. It's where I want the duck egg to come through, I'm going to run my steel wool on that, or where I want maybe some of the texture to come through, like so. Maybe in that corner. Is more or less my Artisan colour smudge. I might just pull back a little bit where this country mustard is. Just blend that in. So normally when I'm doing this, I'm actually facing what I'm detailing, and I'm actually looking at this from the side, which makes it a little bit trickier. But when I go to do it off camera, I'll be able to kind of look at it front on. Something in my hand here. Pretty. So pretty. So there we are. That is my Artisan colour smudge. Now, if you wanted to, I've got some Forgotten Gold metallic glide here. This is completely optional, but I do have gold accents in my home. So I'm going to run this metallic glide. There is a video online on metallic glide, so I'm not going to get into it too much here. I'm just going to grab my steel wool and very lightly just run over where I've just metalliced, and that's just to give it, just to break it up, soften it so it's not such a perfect line. Voila! So there is my box, super soft. You can see the detailing. I'll take some photos of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to repeat that all the way around, and I feel like, see this rim here, I feel like it needs more old denim in there, you know, just to balance it out. And so you might, as you go through and you do your colour smudges, you might stand back and go, actually, I really feel like, you know, that there needs to be a little bit more old denim there. And you can. So there's no like mistakes. You can just keep working back and forth until you're happy, until your colours you feel are balanced. So I'm just going to grab a little bit. I think I steel wooled maybe too much of that off. So I'm just going to run my wet smudge through first. and then run my dry smudge. Okay, so that's a little bit better. So I've just run my old denim through there a little bit more, just to accentuate that edge a little bit more. So that is more or less the end result. Now the light, I've got a lot of natural light coming in here at the moment. So when I go to photograph it, I'll photograph it so it's not blowing out so much. So I'm hoping that that the camera's caught that, but it's a really, really lovely soft finish. So I'm going to now go through and do the same thing on all 4 sides, and then I'll come back and I'll put it somewhere and we can take a quick look at the finish. Okay, so here we are. I've actually bought the box inside the house, and I've dressed it. I wasn't sure what I was going to use this box for, but I think I'm going to use it as kind of like a guest box. So just to put some goodies in when we have visitors and put it in the room. Daryl thinks that the box would make a good kindling box for him. Yeah, but I don't think so. So here's the end result, and it's inside the home, so it's under kind of natural interior lighting. And you can see the beautiful range of colours through the Artisan colour smudge created there. So you can see the old denim, hints of the Adriana, and that country mustard, which is just a hint through there. It's kind of there, but not really. It's just there. And you can see the metallic glides where I've used the Forgotten Gold and the Metro Silver and put it over the top of each other. The reason being was I did want it to be more gold, but with this colorway it does suit a cooler metallic. So by kind of mixing the two together, it gives it kind of like I'm able to create the right tone for this colorway. The Metro Silver didn't show up as much on this colorway, and the Forgotten Gold was a little bit too harsh, so a mix of the two kind of brings it to this tone, which really, really suits the box. And it's only just there, so you can kind of see it in the corners there. I've steel wooled it, so it's not like a defined line. It just picks up the light. It's kind of there, but kind of not. So you can see that it's been aged beautifully, but not through a dark wax or not through an aging wax, but through variation in color. It's very, 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 very soft. I'll just go to the side so you can see as well. It's a really, really soft finish. And you can do this in so many different colors. So you can use neutrals, you can use bright and bold. And really, if you are able to pop into a premium Artisan retailer, I would suggest that you pop in there, talk to them about having seen this video, and just go in, and if you've watched this video, then it's quite easy for our retailers just to work out the right combination of color smudges for you. You can even take fabrics or some type of inspiration in for our retailers to work off. But it's a really easy, simple method on combining a few different Artisan colors onto the one piece in a really, really kind of soft way. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope this has given you some inspiration on Artisan color smudges, and maybe exploring using a few different colors on your next Artisan paint project. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.